The longtime WWE announcer shared a wealth of insight, including his thoughts on Vince McMahon, Corey Graves, and the current state of WWE. One of the most fascinating parts of the interview was Cole's reflection on Vince McMahon's absence from WWE, and how McMahon would have reacted to some of the major changes that have taken place in the company. When asked about the increasing presence of advertising in the ring, the Prime logo on the mat, and the numerous brand logos throughout WWE broadcasts, Cole said, "This would have never happened. I understood Vince's perspective that the mat was sacred, but it's 2025, this is the world now." It's clear that Cole sees how much the business has evolved, and while Vince McMahon's approach might have been different, it's a sign of WWE's modern growth. Regarding McMahon's personal controversies, including the multiple NDA agreements with women and the lawsuits against him, Cole was careful in his comments. He explained, "I will never ever disparage Vince McMahon. He's got his personal issues, but from a professional standpoint, I'll never disparage the man. I would not be here today without Vince. He gave me everything and stuck with me when I was learning to be a wrestling guy. I wasn't a wrestling guy when I came here, but he gave me the chance." Despite any personal challenges McMahon faced, Cole made it clear he holds immense respect for him in a professional context. Cole also discussed the length of his WWE career, revealing that his current deal is an 8-year contract, which expires when he turns 66. At 58 years old, Cole mentioned that he had just signed a brand new contract with WWE, saying, "I'm going to be here for a number of years. But the company really made me feel, for the first time, that I was really important to this place." Cole's career with WWE dates back to 1997, and despite his long tenure, it was the first time he felt truly valued by the company. He also shared that since joining WWE, he's only missed 3 shows, showcasing his unwavering dedication to the company. Moving on, Cole also spoke candidly about the tension with Corey Graves that has been the subject of much speculation. Graves, who transitioned from calling matches on the main roster to NXT, didn't take the move well and expressed his frustration on social media. While some speculated that it might have been a work, Cole's comments signaled that it was more of a shoot situation. "That's a strange situation. I love Corey, love him to death. I still don't understand all the dynamics of it," Cole said. The situation between the two longtime announcers remains unclear, but it's evident that there's more to the story than what's been publicly shared. Michael Cole's appearance on Impulsive gave fans a rare and insightful look into his thoughts on Vince McMahon, WWE's evolution, and the drama surrounding Corey Graves. As Cole looks ahead to the final years of his WWE career, it's clear that he holds both the company and McMahon in high regard, even as the business continues to evolve in new and unexpected ways. Michael Cole and Logan Paul had an intriguing conversation on Impulsive that touched on several hot topics in the wrestling world. One of the main subjects was Corey Graves' recent social media comments, which were critical of WWE. Graves had suggested that his move from the main roster to NXT didn't sit well with him, and he tried to explain that he was attempting to generate interest, possibly for a storyline. However, Michael Cole clarified that WWE and Graves are working through the situation. Cole also reaffirmed his admiration for Graves, stating that he is his best broadcast partner besides Pat McAfee. On the topic of Go Away Heat, Logan Paul opened up about his own experience in WWE, claiming, "I think I have Go Away Heat." He admitted that some fans dislike him, but he believes his skills as a wrestler are what keep him relevant in WWE. Typically, Go Away Heat refers to a wrestler being so annoying that the audience switches the channel instead of staying to watch. However, Paul suggested that the kind of heat he has is different. Fans want to see him get what's coming to him, a more traditional form of heat that keeps the audience invested. In more WWE news, SmackDown's ratings have taken a dip, sparking concerns that fans may be growing bored with the product. The February 14th episode of SmackDown averaged 1.384 million viewers on USA Network, which marked an 8.2% decline from the previous week. This drop is the lowest audience total for the show since December 2023, and reports suggest that SmackDown's ratings have steadily declined since then. Raw has also seen a steady drop in viewership, despite the lead up to WrestleMania. This raises the question, shouldn't the numbers be climbing as the big event nears? Meanwhile, a new face has appeared on NXT, Ricky Saints, who has many fans wondering about his past in AEW and the story behind his new ring name. Saints, who previously wrestled as Ricky Starks, spoke about the name change during an appearance on Busted Open Radio. He admitted that the change would take time for fans to get used to, but explained that he respects the decision, as he's from New Orleans, and it's important to him to carry a piece of his roots with him. He also acknowledged that WWE's policy of renaming wrestlers is largely for the company to own the intellectual property, as Ricky Starks is his real name and he owns the rights to it. Fans have already started to wonder what this means for his future in WWE, especially since Starks was once seen as a potential main eventer in AEW. Reflecting on his time in AEW, Saints admitted that things fell apart after CM Punk left, and he agreed with the notion that his lack of political savvy may have contributed to his downfall in the company. He also revealed that he had requested AEW not renew his one-year option in 2023 but was kept there until he was ultimately released earlier this month. Saints maintained that he never sabotaged his own career and expressed frustration over some veterans getting involved in his creative direction. Despite the setbacks, he remains hopeful for his WWE future. In an interesting move, WWE has introduced new titles, the WWE ID Championships, both for men and women. Triple H, WWE's chief creative officer, tweeted about the new titles and explained that the first champions would be determined in a tournament across top independent wrestling promotions. The WWE ID champions will then defend their titles on the indie circuit. While some fans are concerned about WWE exerting influence over the indie scene, it remains to be seen how this move will unfold. As of now, WWE has a total of 21 belts across all rosters, which begs the question, is that too many titles? Speaking of potential matches, Mick Foley made headlines with his comments about possibly having one last match, and this time, he has a specific opponent in mind, Rhea Ripley. Foley discussed his dream matches with Jamal and of Monopoly events and listed several opponents he would love to face, including Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and Kevin Owens in hardcore-style matches. He even mentioned that he'd be interested in facing Ripley, saying that he could come on Mommy's behalf and seek vengeance against Dirty D, presumably a reference to Dominic Mysterio. While Foley's body is in rough shape, and he's not likely to take part in any more extreme death matches, fans are intrigued by the idea of seeing him step into the ring one more time, especially in a high-profile match with Ripley. Lastly, we received sad news that Maureen J. Mel, the wife of WWE Hall of Famer and legend Gorilla Monsoon, passed away at the age of 85 on February 16, 2025. According to a report from Legacy.com, she passed away peacefully at the United Methodist Community in Collingswood, New Jersey, where she had been a resident for the past 3 years. Our condolences go out to Mrs. Mel's family and friends during this difficult time. As we wrap up these wild stories in the world of wrestling, we look forward to hearing your thoughts. Do you think Ricky Saints has what it takes to succeed in WWE? Will the Hardy Boys return lead to a bigger storyline? And what do you think about the potential Mick Foley vs. Rhea Ripley match? Be sure to leave your comments below, and stay tuned for more wrestling updates. The Bloodline breakup is one of the top stories leading up to WrestleMania, highlighting WWE's continued reliance on the faction for compelling storylines. While Roman Reigns' internal conflict with Solo Sikoa seemed like the obvious direction, a new report from WrestleVotes suggests a shift in plans. Instead of a Roman Solo clash at WrestleMania, WWE is now focusing on a potential match between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. After months of speculation about Roman facing Solo, this change of direction points to a fresh narrative. While details remain unclear, fans are eagerly awaiting how the story unfolds as WWE gears up for the big event. WWE seems to be leaning towards turning Fatu babyface, but is it too soon for such a change? What do you think about the potential breakup of the Bloodline at WrestleMania? Is this the right direction for WWE to take? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up, could Shawn Michaels have one more match in him? The Heartbreak Kid has long claimed he's retired and has been busy running NXT. However, former WWE superstar Fandango recently dropped an intriguing tidbit during a Q&A on the For the Love of Wrestling podcast. Fandango revealed that he spoke to Michaels at NXT, and according to him, Michaels hinted that he has 1 or 2 matches left in him. Despite Michaels' previous retirement declaration, the idea of him stepping back into the ring remains a hot topic. Wrestling fans know that in this industry, never say never is often the motto, but the real question is, should he? After the disappointing Crown Jewel appearance, many feel Michaels should have stayed retired after his iconic final match at WrestleMania 26. What do you think? Should Shawn Michaels return for 1 or 2 more matches? Share your opinion in the comments. Moving on, there was a big surprise at NXT on February 18th when Moose, the current TNA X Division champion, made a surprise appearance. Moose confronted current NXT champion Oba Fei, teasing a potential match between the two. This confrontation has fans buzzing, especially with the possibility of a showdown between 2 prominent stars. It's a rivalry that could excite both NXT and TNA fans, so it'll be interesting to see how this storyline unfolds. Lastly, the Hardy Boys made a surprise appearance on the February 18th edition of NXT. Although currently signed with TNA, Matt and Jeff Hardy made a shocking return to WWE's developmental brand. According to Cultaholic, the Hardy Boys were involved in a segment where they issued a challenge to No Quarters Catch crew. This unexpected appearance has fans wondering if the legendary duo is gearing up for a return to WWE in some capacity. Could we see them back in the ring soon? Time will tell, but their return to NXT is already generating major buzz. Tavian Heights and Miles Bourne accepted the No Quarter Catch challenge, and the match is set to take place next week on NXT from Cincinnati, Ohio. The Hardy Boys' appearance, alongside Moose's, is a clear example of WWE capitalizing on its partnership with TNA. Triple H even weighed in on the Hardy Boys' return, tweeting, "Two men who have redefined tag team wrestling for over 25 years. The Hardy Boys have reached the pinnacle of our industry and often jumped off it to the amazement of fans worldwide." He added that the duo will return to the WWE ring next week in Cincinnati. It would be fantastic if, alongside their return, Triple H surprises them with a Hall of Fame induction. After all, both Matt and Jeff Hardy certainly deserve it. Next, Michael Cole stirred things up during his appearance on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast.